Now welcome to the Rob Johnson Sports Show, presented by the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rob Johnson Sports Show, episode 23. Again, welcome to the Rob Johnson Sports Show, episode 23. Glad you guys with me. It's been about a month. Had to do some different things, some different stuff going on, but we are here now. Hopefully, I will be joining you guys every Wednesday. I will be joining you every Wednesday at noon. I'll be joining you every Wednesday at noon. We'll be doing the Monday night football games starting this week, week 2. We'll be going live talking about the NFL games as they're happening. We'll also be talking some Raw. So Monday nights and Wednesdays, that's where you can catch the Rob Johnson Sports Show. And anytime any breaking news happens, that's when I will be on air. So, again, I am Rob Johnson of the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Thank you guys for joining me today here on the show. As you guys can see down at the bottom, I have the topics. I have the topics that you guys are looking for. We have about a good 6-7 topics today. We have the NFL final. We see the NFL final week reviews. We have the week 2 predictions. Basically with the pick'ems. So when the pick'ems come out, that's when you'll see my NFL predictions for week 2. When the pick'ems come out for the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Again, welcome to the Rob Johnson Sports Show, episode 23. Let's get started. No graphics today because I have the topics down there, so no need for any graphics. You can just see my face as I talk to you. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. The other night, I'm sitting at the Norfolk Scope Arena. I'm enjoying the wrestling, and I just happened to, true story, I happened to get onto my phone, watching the Bills game for maybe a second or two. I want to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. I see that the Buffalo Bills have already been on the field. I see that it's time for Aaron Rodgers to show the world what he has. I see that Aaron Rodgers is going to show everybody why he was paid the way he was paid to come to the New York Jets. So watching a little bit of the game, he struggles a little bit. He's having some issues or whatnot. And then he gets hit. He gets hit by Leonard Floyd, I believe. Leonard Floyd. He sits there for a second. He gets up and he goes down. First thing that comes to my mind, Achilles. I had an Achilles scare one time. And when I say a scare, I mean it scared the living daylights out of me. It feels like somebody takes a baseball bat and hits you in the back of your Achilles. And at the time, I was like, what? I think this was 10 years ago. So I was around that 23, 24-year-old range, something like that. Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old. He is soon to be the age of 40. And for that to happen to him at this time in his career is devastating in the sense of it takes, maybe 6 months for you to start to feel better, but it takes a year to 2 years for you to really start to feel like you're getting yourself back together. Now, lucky for Aaron Rodgers, this is modern day medicine. He can get back quickly. Aaron Rodgers can also try to, be less mobile. So, because he has become less mobile as the time has gone on, however, he's going to have to be even less mobile now. He'll be a stationary target like your Tom Brady, etc. Unless he comes back and miraculously he can move faster. He didn't look right in the number 8. Just have to be honest with you guys. I'm used to him being in green and gold. I'm used to him being the all whites for the Green Bay Packers. I'm used to him doing and looking a certain way in those colors. It didn't look right to me. He came out with the flag. It was on 9/11. He had the flag. He was representing New York City. He was representing all the fans who were excited to see him. But it just didn't look right. The Buffalo Bills end up losing the football game because Josh Allen's turnovers just absolutely destroyed them. And it was a good place for Zach Wilson to come in because the Buffalo Bills aren't thinking about Zach Wilson at that point. And I've been in games like that. I've been in basketball games, football games. And I can't really say baseball too much because I have to be honest with you guys, I've never been in a position to be a winner in baseball. I've never won anything in baseball. Played baseball, but never been a winner. But I have won in basketball. I have won in football. And, sometimes you get on the field and that important player goes out, that important piece that keeps that important part, the glue that keeps the entire team together, they go out. So what do? You start to get a little bit overconfident. And sometimes, folks, when you get a little bit overconfident, what ends up happening is that you kind of rest on your laurels a little bit. And, you know, Josh Allen started to, I feel like, rest a little bit. He's like, hey, I can just throw it up, whatever. I'm playing Zach Wilson, even though he beat you the last time. I'm playing Zach Wilson. I can just do whatever I want. Well, he couldn't do whatever he want, ladies and gentlemen, because when Aaron Rodgers went out, the Bills, in my opinion, got a little bit overconfident, and they ended up losing the football game, 19-13. Because I'm sorry, it was 22. It was 22-16 after the punt return, where there was absolutely no effort given whatsoever by any of the players on the Buffalo Bills side. Um, when you look at this game, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, um, the Jets have to make a decision. Are you going to play Zach Wilson through? Do you trust Zach Wilson? Or are you going to bring in a veteran? I saw something about Jacoby Brissett today. I don't believe that because the Commanders still need a backup. You can't leave Sam Howell in there all year not thinking he might not suffer something because he got sacked, 6, 7 times himself, 5, 6, 7 times on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. And they're going to play way harder competition than that. Um, you look at the Saints with Derek Carr. He's going to need a backup. So you may want to get a Jameis Winston, but the Saints are going to need a backup with Derek Carr. Derek Carr has had some injuries in the past, and he's a little bit older now, so you don't want to take that away. So when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, when it comes to this team, we don't know. I mean, for me, and from what I can see as an analyst, I could possibly see this being the last time we've seen Aaron Rodgers on the football field when he was getting sacked by Leonard Floyd. That could be the last time we see of an Aaron Rodgers, and I wouldn't be upset by that because Rodgers will be, 40 when he comes back, nearly 41. We don't know how long this injury is going to take. We don't know how long the rehab is going to take. We don't know if he even has, if he has the want to. Because when you have to go through a rehab like that at that age, it's a lot. He's made all the money. Now, one thing I will say is he gave back that $30 million. I know he's regretting that because it's $30 million. And I always say, you're going to give these teams a discount. These teams will never give a discount for you. So always make sure that you keep your money intact because these teams don't care about you. They're going to move on. The NFL will move on without Aaron Rodgers. There'll be an NFL without Aaron Rodgers. They've done it with Peyton. They've done it with other great players. So he will be missed, especially because some of the primetime games and because of some of the national televised games that have been put into place because he was there. But the NFL will move on. NFL stands for not for long. So we'll just keep it moving with that. Now, next topic, as you'll see coming up here, the MLB update. Let's give an update on some of the situations we have. The only team so far in Major League Baseball to clinch a playoff spot are the Atlanta Braves. They are 95-50. They are 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're absolutely dominating their division. They're up by 16 games on the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll get to the Phillies in a second. As Trey Turner in his last 13 games, I believe, has 11 home runs. Trey Turner has been playing some good baseball. I keep saying that the Philadelphia Phillies are going to be a dangerous team, and I'll continue to say it. They will be a dangerous team going to the playoffs. I guess people will see it to believe it when it happens. All right, let's go down to divisions. Right now, the Baltimore Orioles lead the AL East by 3 games over the Tampa Bay Rays, followed by the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. The Orioles are 95-53. AL Central, the Minnesota Twins are 76-69. They lead the Cleveland Guardians by 7.5 games, followed by the Tigers, the White Sox, and the Royals, who have been eliminated. Those two teams, the White Sox and Royals, have been eliminated. Let's go to the AL West, where the Houston Astros have taken a little bit of a stranglehold. Not too much of a stranglehold on the AL West, but they've gotten back into control of things. They are 82-64. Followed by the Texas Rangers and the Seattle Mariners. The Rangers and the Mariners, respectively, are 1 and 1.5 games back as the Mariners took the lead of that division for a brief time. The Los Angeles Angels are 14 games back. Looks like they'll be eliminated from the playoffs soon if they continue their losing ways. The Ohtani hype train is kind of going down a little bit after the injury. It's unfortunate. Baseball was really hot in the first half of the season. It's kind of cooled down in the second half, but it's still doing kind of good. But we needed an LA Angels run, especially with Mike Trout coming back the way he did. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games. The Oakland Athletics, to no one's surprise, 46-99. They are eliminated from the playoffs. Let's go to the NL East. The Atlanta Braves again are 95-50, followed by the Philadelphia Phillies, the Miami Marlins, the New York Mets, and the Washington Nationals. Nationals are 30 games out, but if you guys remember some of the shows I had earlier in the year or a couple months back, said, hey guys, look out for the Miami Marlins, look out for the Washington Nationals. They're going to be good in the next couple of years. I look for those two teams to make some noise in the next couple of years because they're young baseball teams who I think can do some good things. Let's go to the NL Central. The Milwaukee Brewers lead the Chicago Cubs off 4 games, followed by the Cincinnati Reds, who've also taken a dip. They were so hot in the first half. Ellie De La Cruz. You had Joey Votto, who came back, but I believe he missed 16 to 17 games. So that was big for the Cincinnati Reds. They would have been a big piece into a playoff run. We'll check the wild card standings in a second, followed by the Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go to the NL West, where the Los Angeles Dodgers have taken a stranglehold on this division. They are 88-56. The Diamondbacks are 13 games back. The Giants are 14.5 back. The Padres are 21 back, and the Colorado Rockies have been eliminated. Let's go to the wild card. Let's check on the wild card teams. All right, so in the wild card right now, because we mentioned the Cincinnati Reds, we were hoping they would have a big second half. Now, they're not going to win a division unless there's a miracle, but they are 1 game out of the playoff, and I think that for them, you've got the Phillies, who are 3.5 games up. You've got the Cubs, who are 2 games up. You've got the Diamondbacks, who are basically, they have no lead at all. So there are basically no games up. So for me, when I look at this, what is the best case scenario for baseball? I think the Cincinnati Reds getting in would be a good thing for baseball. You got Joey Votto back. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. I think it'd be a good scenario to get the Cincinnati Reds into the playoffs, followed by the Marlins and the Giants, who are both a game and a half back. The Padres are 8 games back as well, but it looks like I think they've been eliminated from playoff contention, I believe. So I don't know why they even have them still on there. All right, let's go to the wild cards. For the AL, you have the Rays, the Texas Rangers, and the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays are tied, but the Mariners are in that final spot. So, followed by the Blue Jays, you have the Red Sox and Yankees. However, they're 7.5 games back. They're not catching those teams. So, for right now, when you look at the race for this entire thing, you're looking at the Rangers, who are 80-64. You're looking at the Mariners, who are 80-65, and you're looking at the Toronto Blue Jays, who are 80-65. It's going to be tight from my perspective. I think that the Rays and the Rangers are good for the playoffs, but if you get the Mariners in the playoffs, that's really good for baseball. So my 2 teams, the Mariners and the Reds, you get those 2 baseball teams in, I think you can make the postseason even more interesting. Now, thing is that the Yankees aren't getting in, and that's okay with me because guess what? The Yankees need to revamp their team. They need to get some things revamped. So do the Red Sox. So before you get those creme de la creme franchises back in, let's let some of the other younger franchises come up and do some great things in this draft, and this MLB season that can possibly make the playoffs. Now let's go to the WNBA playoffs. I'm going to read you guys off the bracket. I have the bracket right here, and give me one quick second. I'm gonna bring this thing up. All right, so I believe this is the East-West because this should be the East-West. So there's, of course, as you guys know, there are only 8 teams that get into the playoffs out of 12. So, and I'll give you my predictions. So in the first round, you have Las Vegas, Chicago. I've got Vegas. I think Chicago will give them a little bit of a tough time. It is the best out of 3. So basically, all you gotta do is win, 2 games. So best out of 3. Make sure I have this correct. Yeah, best out of 3. So all that Vegas has to do is win 2 games. So that's basically all they have to do is win 2 games. Dallas against Atlanta. I gotta say Dallas. I don't think Atlanta. I think Atlanta's a pretty decent team, but they're not. They're not. They're not what they used to be. Connecticut, Minnesota. I'm gonna pick the upset here. I'm gonna give it to Minnesota. I think Minnesota's been playing a lot better basketball. I think Minnesota will get to the Western Conference Finals, semifinals. Liberty against Mystics. I'll say this, folks. I'll say this. The Liberty are very good, but when you have Deladon, when you have that team that's very feisty, they have a chance. They have a chance. I'm gonna have to give it to I'm gonna have to give it to New York. I'm gonna have to give it to New York. I have to give it to New York. So yeah, no upsets. All right. In the semifinal round, which is the best of 5 series, you have you're gonna have the Liberty against the Lynx. I think it'll be tight. I think the Lynx will play tough. I think the Lynx are gonna have a bright future, especially to get some more players in. But I don't see them beating the Liberty. Las Vegas and Dallas. Dallas can give Vegas some issues. They have when they played this year. I know Vegas beat them up pretty good a couple of times, but I think that Dallas can give them a headache. So I think that this can go the full 5 games, and I'll give it to Las Vegas. Now, we have the WNBA Finals, which everybody's predicting, which is the Liberty and the Aces. I have Asia Wilson as the MVP. I think Breanna Stewart will have one of her vintage Breanna Stewart finals. But I'm just going to give it to Vegas. I think Vegas is the best team. I think that the entire season, even though when they start off undefeated, I look at this team as look, we know we're the best team. We know we're the best team. We're going to kind of coast through the regular season a little bit. We're going to give everybody the illusion that they can beat us. And I think once they get to the finals, they're going to show everybody why they are the best team in WNBA. I'll give it to the Las Vegas Aces with Asia Wilson as your MVP in that scenario. Now, we're going to go to our college football predictions for this week coming up. And I'm actually going to go through all the games for you guys. I'm going through all of them, and I'll give you my predictions for each one of the games. So we have Bethune-Cookman in Miami. I'll give it to Miami. Navy against Memphis. Memphis. UVA, Maryland. Maryland by a mile. Army at University of Texas San Antonio. I'll give it to Texas San Antonio. Utah State against the Air Force. Utah State. Florida State, BC. Florida State easily. Penn State at Illinois. Listen, Penn State is one of those football teams where for some reason they kind of play down to the competition, but I think they beat Illinois. LSU at Mississippi State. If I am LSU, I am very careful how I approach this game. I'm going to pick the upset, Mississippi State. Kansas State at Mizzou. Again, it's difficult. It's difficult because it's an SEC game. It's a tough game. But I can't pick Mizzou in this. I'm going to give it to Kansas State. They're old Big 12 rivals, by the way. Used to be a rivalry in the Big 12, which I still wish Missouri was in the Big 12, but no story for the day. Liberty at Buffalo. I'm going to give it to Liberty. Louisville at Indiana. I think Indiana's been playing some decent football, but I'm going to give it to Louisville. Georgia Southern. Is that Georgia Southern? Let me make sure we get the right name. Georgia Southern Eagles. They take on, if I can get my graphic back here, Georgia Southern, they play Wisconsin. Wake at ODU, Wake Forest. LIU against Baylor, give it to Baylor. Iowa State at Ohio. I'm gonna pick Iowa in the upset here. I'm gonna pick Ohio in the upset here. I think Ohio can get the upset here of Iowa State, possibly. Why not? I mean, Iowa State's not playing good football this year, so give it Ohio in the upset. CCSU, Kent State, give it to Kent State. University of North Dakota against Boise, I'm gonna give it to. Let me see what North Dakota's record is. I think North Dakota's undefeated. me see. I think this is hard. This is a little bit of a hard one. North Dakota is always a really good team, along with North Dakota State. But I really don't want to pick this game in that sense because they're going to Boise. I'll give it to North Dakota. I think it could be Boise State. Uh, Webb at Utah. I give it to Utah. VMI at NC State. NC State by a mile. Massachusetts at Eastern Michigan. Massachusetts. Norfolk State at Temple. Temple. They're not beating Temple. Indiana State at Ball State. I give it to Ball State. Central Michigan at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is gonna destroy these guys. South Carolina at Georgia. I think this will be close in the first half. I really do think this will be close in the first half, but I'll ultimately give to Georgia the blowout. Alabama at University of South Florida. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be very hot. But after maybe the first 15, 20 minutes, Alabama blows them out. San Diego State at Oregon State. Oregon State. Oklahoma at the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. They play a tough schedule because they already played Washington, who's number 8 in the nation, and they scored 10 points. I don't particularly know too much if the Oklahoma defense is going to continue to step up. So I'm not picking Oklahoma. I'm not picking Tulsa, but Oklahoma needs to be very careful. It's a 3:30 game Eastern time, 2:30 Central on ESPN2. They just got to be very careful. Minnesota at North Carolina. North Carolina needs to be on upset alert. Minnesota is not a great team, but they can give you issues and problems. So, but I'll give it to North Carolina. Northwestern at Duke. Duke by a mile. Western Michigan, Iowa. I give it to Iowa. Virginia Tech at Rutgers. I was going to go Virginia Tech before I saw a Purdue game. I'm going to give Rutgers. So I don't think you call Rutgers an upset because Virginia Tech is 1-1, but I think it's still an upset with Rutgers beating Virginia, especially if you go back to the old Big East and everything like that. Historically, if you want to call it like that, it's an upset. FIU, Connecticut. It's a little bit of a tough one. I'm going to say FIU. I'm not going to say it's not a tough one, but I'll give it to FIU because, it's one of those games where it can go any direction. ECU at App State. Western Kentucky, Ohio State. University of Louisiana Monroe at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is going to beat these guys down. They're going to be so mad coming off that Miami loss. If they lose, Jimbo's getting fired. No doubt about it. Idaho at Cal. Give it to Cal. Tulane at University of Southern Mississippi. Give it to Tulane. Washington at Michigan State. Michigan State's not going to be ready for this game. This game is going to be on Peacock at 5 p.m. Central time, 4 o'clock Central time. Give it to Washington and Michael Penix Jr. UNCO at Washington State. North Carolina Central University at UCLA. Let's see here. We got this. Let me see what we got here. We got Georgia State against Charlotte. The 49ers are usually a pretty decent team at home, but the 49ers are usually a pretty decent team at home, and this would be a pretty decent game. They lost to Maryland by 18, so I think they can beat Georgia. I think they can beat Georgia Southern. I think they can do that. I'll give them the game. Shouldn't be too much of it. Should be a decent game, but I'll give them the game. Let's go back down. Villanova at UCF easily. Tennessee at Florida, Tennessee. Samford at Auburn should win this game. University North Texas at Louisiana Tech. I'm going to give it to North Texas in the upset. Not an upset, but I'll give it to North Texas. Murray against Middle Tennessee. NIU against Nebraska. Nebraska lose this game. I'm telling you right now, they may fire Matt Rule. He may not even be able to get on the bus. They may even say you can't even go to your house. He better not lose to NIU. Oh my goodness. Vanderbilt at UNLV. Give it to Vanderbilt. Miami of Ohio at Cincinnati. You have, I don't even recognize this school. They got some crazy. Oh yeah, it's Tarleton State. They really got Tarleton State on the freaking schedule. This is crazy. Like these guys should be ashamed of themselves, man. You really have Tarleton State on the schedule for Texas Tech. Texas Tech wins. University of Louisiana, UAB, give it to UAB. SMU against is just Prairie View. Oh, SMU definitely. They're not losing to Prairie View, not at all. They're not losing to Prairie View. Let's get back to the schedule. Let's see here. We got Texas Southern against Rice. Let me tell you guys something. Rice is a really good football team. Rice, don't sleep on Rice if they get to a bowl game. Rice is a really good football team. Just ask Texas. Just ask Texas. I'm telling you, man. Texas blew them out, but Texas had a tough time beating those guys. Let's see here. Let's see. We got Duquesne at. Who is this? At Coastal Carolina. I'll give it to Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina usually is a really good football team, and they're 1-1, so I'll give it to Coastal Carolina. Stony Brook against Arkansas State. Let's check these records here. Stony Brook is on to. Yeah, Stony Brook is not a really good. I've seen Stony Brook. I think I've seen Stony Brook play before. I think they played a CAA team once. They're not always on point with things. So, and they're 0-2 so far this year. So I'm gonna give it to Arkansas State. Arkansas State should win this game because they're a better program and a better team. JMU at Troy. I'm gonna give it to JMU. San Jose State at Toledo. I'm gonna give it to San Jose State. No. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give it to Toledo. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna give it to Toledo. Even though Illinois is not good this year, Illinois they play Illinois tough, so I'm gonna give it to them. Still a Big Ten team at the end of the day. Bowling Green against Michigan. Michigan's gonna roll all over them. Georgia Tech at Ole Miss. BYU at Arkansas. Give it to Arkansas. I'm not gonna pick the upset. Akron at Kentucky. Syracuse at Purdue. This is their first big test, but I'll give it to Syracuse. It's their really first big test. They've looked well early in the season, but we'll give it to Syracuse. But it won't be by that much. We have the backyard brawl. I guess as they call it, like the backyard brawl between Pittsburgh and West Virginia. I'm going to give it to West Virginia. Yeah, Wyoming at Texas. I give it to Texas. Hawaii at Oregon. Let me think about this. Oregon. New Mexico State at New Mexico. Rivalry game. Going to go ahead and give this to. Let's see what these teams' records are. I don't think either team is that impressive. I know that New Mexico lost to Texas Tech. I'm sorry, not Texas Tech, but Texas A&M. A&M beat them pretty good. I mean, they pretty much destroyed them by like 42 points. And then New Mexico State is they're 1-2 in the year. They haven't looked very good, so I'm going to give it to New Mexico. I'm going to give this to New Mexico. The Lobos should win this football game, and it shouldn't be that close, in my opinion. Sacramento at Stanford. I'm not gonna say that Sacramento is gonna win, but what I will say, folks, is that Sacramento is one of those programs. Don't be surprised in the next 10 to 15. I'm not gonna say 15, but next half decade to decade, that Sacramento State moves up even more because they're a really good program. They're a really good program, and I like the way they do things. So. I'm going to pick Sacramento in the upset. Yeah, I'm going to pick Sacramento to beat Stanford in the upset. Yeah, that's my upset special of the week. I know it seems a little crazy, but I'm going to pick Sacramento to get the upset at Stanford. FAU at Clemson. TCU at Houston. Houston got embarrassed last week, but it was against Rice, and they came back. It was like 20-0, I believe. And they ended up losing 43-41. So, but still, I'm going to give the game to TCU. TCU's coming off that loss, a few weeks ago against Colorado. And, they're still thinking about that loss. They're still thinking about all the talk that everybody had against them. They had a pretty easy game last week. So, but I'm still going to give it to TCU. I think that they can rise up, and that offense is going to do some really good things. Let's Let's go to, we only have a few games left. Jackson State at Texas State. I'll give it to Texas State. CSU, Colorado State against Colorado. Fresno against Arizona State. Kansas at Nevada. We'll give it to Kansas. And then we have UTEP at Arizona. I will take UTEP in the upset. Now, let's go to some of the teams that we cover here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network as far as the local teams that we cover. Let's go to that Saturday slate. We have Delaware and Richmond. Richmond better win. I'm telling you right now, Richmond, you better win. Do not go out there losing to Delaware State, who is 0-2. William Mary against Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern played a really tough Clemson team last week. Well, not as tough as they've been in the past, but still. So William Mary, they're going on the road. They've got to be prepared as they face that team going onto the road. So I think that it's going to be a really good slate this weekend. Now, next weekend, as you guys know, we get Ohio State and Notre Dame. So, yeah, we'll see. And, again, we have Virginia also who plays Maryland this upcoming week. So we will definitely see. We will definitely see if we can get any upsets this upcoming week. But those were the college football topics. Let's go to the top 5 Heisman vote getters that I have coming into this week so far. All right, at number 5, I had Tyler Van Dyke, which I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put Travis Hunter at number 5. At number 4, I'm going to put Shedeur Sanders. At number 3, I have Caleb Williams. At number 2, let's see. Let me make sure I have all the lists correct. Yeah, I have Caleb Williams at number 3. So we have those names. Let me see. Caleb Williams number 2. No, I'm sorry. We're going to redo this list. Because it's been a hard choice. So again, it's been a hard choice, but I'm going to see if I can recap this thing. So number 5, I do have Travis Hunter. All right. At number 5, Travis Hunter. At number 4, I have Tyler Van Dyke. At number 2, at number 3 is a tough decision. Oof, it's tough. It's a tough decision, man. This is tough. All right, we're gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna go from 5 to 1, and then there's gonna be a tough decision, but we're gonna go here. All right, so number 5, I have Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is number 5. Number 4, I have Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. Number 3, I have Caleb Williams from USC. At number 2, I have Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. And at number 1, I can't deny this guy, Quinn Ewers. I got Quinn Ewers. And people will say, why do I have Quinn Ewers? Well, because, folks, let's be honest with something, right? All right. He has 609 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. However, out of those 6 touchdowns, right? Out of those 6 touchdowns, 3 of them came against Alabama. And here's the thing. He threw for 349 yards at Alabama. That tells you that if he had played the game last year, not only Texas would have won, but he would have been in position for the Heisman Trophy. Because Quinn Ewers is going to move up draft boards. He can fling the football. I don't think Alabama's lost a non-conference home game since like 08, since like 07, 08, something like that. They're a legitimate football team, folks. They are a legitimate football team. And you got to take them seriously. You better take Texas seriously. They're up to number 4. You better take Texas very seriously. And Quinn Ewers, if he continues to play the way he's playing, he's going to be an issue. All right. We're going to go through the NFL recap. We're not going to actually go through the games and talk about them. We're just going to give you the recap scores. So we had Lions Chiefs. The Lions won that game 21-20. Let's go down to the Sunday games. If I can go back to that. The Sunday games, we had the Commanders beat the Cardinals 20-16. We had the Cowboys beat the Giants 40-0. Ravens beat the Texans 25-9. You had the Panthers lose to the Falcons 24-10. The Browns beat the Bengals 24-3. The 49ers crushed the Steelers 30-7. The Vikings beat the Minnesota Vikings 20-17. The Jaguars beat the Colts 31-21. The Saints defeated the Titans 16-15. The Raiders beat the Broncos 17-16 by 1 point. The Miami Dolphins beat the LA Chargers 36-34. The Rams defeated and kind of can you say upset the Seattle Seahawks 30-13. The Eagles beat the Patriots 25-20, and the Bears lost at home after all the hype 38-20 to the Green Bay Packers. And of course, on Monday night, you had the Jets beat the Buffalo Bills 22-16. My takeaway from week one is that we have a couple of dominant teams in the NFC, but right now the 49ers are still the best team. The 49ers and Eagles are the best team. I can't put Dallas at number one, number two, because until the Eagles prove to me that they are no longer at the top of the echelon of the NFC, I can't take them off. Until the 49ers show me that they can lose without Brock Purdy, when Brock Purdy is healthy and in the game and doing what he's doing. Now you think about it, they got rid of Trey Lance for a reason, because they didn't need him. Because Brock Purdy is that guy. Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. In the AFC right now, everything is congested. Aaron Rodgers going down to Miami Dolphins have to go into that top five as one of your favorites. The Cleveland Browns, their defense is real. They're gonna figure it out. Josh Allen cannot continue to turn the ball over at all, or it's gonna get really ugly in Buffalo. Minnesota, what are you doing? You cannot lose to a team like Tampa. Can't lose to them. Just can't lose to them. And you only give up 20 points if you're the Minnesota defense. But your offense, who I continue to call, and I know people won't like this, but Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins are match made in football heaven, because they are nothing but stat stuffers. I've said that for years. They don't really show up in the big games, other than the Buffalo game last year. They don't show up in the big games. They don't show up when things are really there to be taken, to make a statement. They're there when the crowd is, they're at an indie show when there's like 15 people in the crowd. But when there's a full arena and it's time to go and it's time to show what you got, they don't show up. That's still a problem for Minnesota. It's a huge problem for Minnesota. They got to fix that, and in a hurry, because this organization and those fans will not be patient with them. Not at all. Talked to a Carolina fan yesterday. Please be patient with Bryce Young. Like, I don't want to hear this crap already about benching Bryce Young. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Sean Payton, stop being so cocky. You have as many Super Bowl championships as Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's been in two Super Bowls. You've been in one. Stop thinking that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. The Chargers defense still stinks. The head coach Staley shouldn't be the head coach. He should have been gone. But we all know why Kellen Moore is there. Like Stephen A. Smith said earlier today, Kellen Moore is their coach in waiting. We all know that. They're just waiting to get Staley out of there. So they're waiting to get Staley out of there so they can make Kellen Moore the head coach and the de facto offensive coordinator, and they'll bring in a really good defensive coach. Watch. If the Chargers keep this up, watch. And I'm telling you right now, it could happen in season, because they can't continue to let this happen in LA. I mean, you get the ball back with that much time and you get sacked on third and fourth down. Yeah, that's a Kellen Moore problem, but you're still giving up 36 points. Tua Tua had 466 yards passing. That's a problem when it's the most expensive defense in the NFL and you're the head coach and you know defense, supposedly. The Chicago Bears did a lot of yapping. Jordan Love shut it. Took him out. Bottom line. The Colts have a bright future with Anthony Richardson. Be patient with him. Go out and get him a really good receiver. You know, somebody whose parent may know, you know, what Indianapolis is all about. What knows what that city, what that town is all about. A certain guy named Marvin Harrison Jr. His father sort of played with the Colts and was a Hall of Famer that was very good. So, you know, we're already looking towards 2024 NFL draft when it comes to the Colts. Jaguars, you gotta do better. Jaguars, you gotta do better. Lamar Jackson, gotta be better. You know, gotta be better. You know, 17 to 22, 169, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Still led the team in rushing. What's the difference? We got to see that difference. We got to see that difference, Lamar Jackson. We have to. Because it's the Texans, but he won 25-9, but it wasn't impressive. Dallas, San Francisco, they have two of the best defenses in the league. I still have to give it to San Francisco as number one because until Dallas beats San Francisco is the better team. The Eagles defense struggled a little bit, but I think that they can get things going. Mac Jones looks better because he has an offensive coordinator, finally. I thought Mac Jones was a second or third round pick, but if he can get an actual offensive coordinator, which he has now, maybe, just maybe, the guy can turn the corner, which I hope he can. Now, last topic of the day, as you guys can see on the screen right there, I have all the topics for you. Make sure you check out the Rob Johnson Sports Show on the Legacy Maker Sports Network Facebook and YouTube page. Check it out on my Instagram. I'm sorry, not my Instagram, but my Facebook and my YouTube is live right now. See if we have any comments. We don't have any comments, which is not shocking because for some reason my show does not get any traction. Can't get any comments, can't get any likes. I don't know what's going on out here. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't yell enough. Maybe I don't yell enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm not being belligerent enough. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not Stephen A, guys. I can't be out here yelling every 5 minutes. My voice will go out. I can yell sometimes, but not too much. My voice will go out and I'll get a headache. So, you know, I'm here to bring you guys the best in sports. So make sure you support the Rob Johnson Sports Show. All right, so we're going to go to our two divisions for the Legacy Maker Sports Network. These were the records that we had after week 1, and we'll be approaching week 2. We'll be posting those. I may even give you guys a little special about those picks that we have coming up. So we have the Legends division, and then we have the All-Star division. I'm in the All-Star division. I'm third right now. Let's go through the Legends division and let's go through the winners. Darrell through week 1. Darrell Owens 11 wins, 5 losses. Joy 11 wins. Joy has 11 wins and 5 losses. Lamont has 9 wins and 7 losses. Victor 9 wins, 7 losses. James and Corey both have 8 wins with 8 losses, and Justice came in last place with 7 wins and 9 losses. Let's go to the All-Star division standings where Larry, he dominated this one. 11 wins, 5 losses. Tom Montgomery 10 wins, 6 losses. I and Christina both had 9 wins, 7 losses. You had Russ and Jay who had 7 wins, 9 losses apiece, and then you had Joy. Then you had who was in last place? Let me make sure I see. I can't even see who was in last place. Yeah, Joe Dillard, which is shocking because Joe is one of the best analysts out there when it comes to this sports stuff. Joe Dillard. I keep saying Joy. I'm thinking about Joy. I'm thinking about Joy because of his great coverage with Virginia Tech. I believe he came in at 7-9. So that was the recap. That was who won. That was who lost. Make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys show our pick'ems some love, as our pick'ems will be going all year long here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. That's been the show. I'm Rob Johnson. I really hope you guys enjoyed episode 23. I'll be back next Monday night for episode 24 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network.